And call the open session for the December 13th, 2023 meeting to order. We'll go ahead and get started with the Pledge of Allegiance. If you'll please join me.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, we'll take roll call, please.
Councilmember Lemon.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Douglas.
Present.
Councilmember Hilberg.
Here.
Councilmember McCauley.
Here.
And Mayor Burris.
Here. All right, we'll move to item 1D, approval of the agenda order. Do we have any changes this evening? All right. Can I get a motion to approve?
Move to approve.
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. We can knock that off at the end, right?
Yeah.
All right, and that was a unanimous aye from all members of council. Perfect. All right, moving to item 1E, statement of conflict of interest. Do we have any new conflicts of interest that have arisen?
No.
All right, seeing none, we'll move to item 2, the consent calendar. Items on the consent calendar are considered routine and non-controversial in nature. They'll be moved on in one blanket motion. Anybody may pull an item from consent. Would anybody like to pull an item from the consent calendar for discussion?
Yes, I'd like to pull 2F.
Okay. All right, any others? All right, I will entertain a motion on the consent calendar minus item 2F.
Move to approve the consent calendar minus 2F.
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. All right, moving to item 2F, lift station 5 pump motor rebuild. Turn this over to our city manager. Or better yet, Kim, do you have specific questions you'd like the city manager?
Yes, 2F is a rebuilding of the pump at lift station 5. I think $453,000. And the reason I pulled it is to let everybody know out there that maintaining the sewer plant is very expensive. Here's a pump, $453,000. And it's just something that it's easy to just bypass and go over. And then a couple months later, when we have a rate study, people wonder, why can't we drop our rates for a sewer plant? So it's just to let everybody know in the community that we have the councilors here, we're aware of the costs and the maintenance. And that's I'm not complaining about the cost. I'm just letting our citizens know that it's very expensive running a sewer plant.
Mayor Pro Tem Douglas, I'm sorry, one clarification, the pump is 40,500. 40,000.
Yeah,
Like I said,
It's very expensive, yes. It's still expensive, but yeah.
Okay.
Before we go on, I was going to pull that one as well, because I don't know how $40,000 compares to the cost of a pump. And what if a pump is only worth 60 or 80 or something? 40 would be a lot. If it's worth 100, maybe not so much, but what is the cost of a pump?
So that's not a question I can answer. I don't have the data in front of me. Maybe our new city manager might know, but
unfortunately, I'd have to know what brand the pump was and some more size, horsepower, that kind of thing before I could be prepared.
I do know it is very expensive because it can't be replaced. It's a Grundfos pump and they don't make them anymore. And so we have to rebuild. That's why we have to rebuild this one instead of having new. And we have it provides us a redundancy so that we have a backup pump as well. So because this lift station is probably the most important lift station in the city, it cannot go down or the whole system fails. So we have to have redundancy and so this is a key thing. That's why the council put it in the CIP. So
yeah. I can tell you from experience where I'm at now, we use flight pumps, and a 20 horsepower rebuild at a flight pump is about $25,000. So depending on the size, this may not be that unreasonable. And I will tell you that I've worked with Jim Billings at G3 Engineering for a number of years now, and he's a pretty good guy. So I'll have more conversations with him as we go.
Well, according to what plumbers say, all we need is gravity.
Quarter inch a foot until you have to pump it.
Yeah, but we'll get that number and bring it and let the council know what the cost of a of a new pump, if a new pump could be purchased, what it would be, so.
And one last comment that you and I were the ones that, caught that. And it just shows that great minds stink alike. Poor pun, sorry.
Well, thank you very much. In that case, if we have no other comments or question from the council, do we have any public comment on item 2F? All right, hearing none, bring it back to the council for action.
I approve.
What does that mean? Come on. You know protocol.
Good.
Move the item.
I move that we approve. Yeah,
I second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
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 All right, motion passes. Moving to item 3, agency reports, starting with Placer County Sheriff's Office.
Good evening, Mayor, City Council. Going over the last week, we just got out of Winterfest. Phenomenal for us. I know that I speak for the other agencies in the room as well. As it was a good night. It was a good night, family event here in the city. Winterfest is my favorite event here, but I'm also not a fan of the hot weather when it comes to wearing this equipment. So Winterfest was right on point. The parade was awesome. The kids and seeing everybody out there. We had 0 issues on the law enforcement side out there. So that was awesome. Everybody behaved themselves very well. After the first of the year, we have a plan for some of our deputies. Our homeless liaison deputies are going to be bringing around business packets. They're going to bring those even up to Colfax and share that with the businesses so they know what the sheriff's office provides, who they need to contact when they have issues around frauds and all those different things. I'm going to try to retain some copies for all of you so you can see what we're passing out. And that's the plan for the beginning of the year. Otherwise, I don't want to keep pushing this meeting longer than we have to. So if there's no other questions, I'll
right.
sit down.
Any questions?
Or any? No?
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
All right, California Highway Patrol.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Officer Jason Lyman, Gold Run CHP, Public Information Officer. A little bit early in the month to have any real stats for the month right now, but the biggest thing I wanted to speak about is the upcoming weather. They're predicting to be basically rain and snow for the rest of the year, next couple of weeks. And it doesn't appear that it's going to come all the way down here to Colfax. It's probably going to be like Blue Canyon-ish and farther up the hill. So I don't anticipate any major problems with like closures here at Colfax or anything, but the weather is the weather around here and it can always change it whenever it wants to. We have our normal staffing going on right now, which is very limited compared to a few years ago, but we do have a few extra people that we're calling in on overtime during the storms to help out with the chain control and stuff like that with Caltrans up on the hill. Does anybody have any questions for me?
Any questions? All right.
All right.
Thank you.
Guys.
All right, Placer County Fire Department, CAL FIRE.
Good evening, Madam Mayor, council members. Bob Counts, Assistant Chief with CAL FIRE, Placer County Fire. This past Monday, we've gone to base staffing for CAL FIRE for the unit, which for the city of Colfax really doesn't mean anything. We still have our 2 fire engines staffed here in Colfax. Up at Alta, we did drop one of the 2 engines there, so we have the single engine staffing up at Alta now. We also opened burning, so we removed the permit required requirements. As of this past Monday as well. So no permits required for burning anymore. Winterfest was great, was awesome. My wife and I came and walked around. I'd like to acknowledge Chief Lovelace as well as Fire Captain Kimbrell over at Station 30 for all the hard work and effort they put into it, including the town Christmas tree, hanging the banner, the effort that was put in for the parade and all the equipment, as well as our fire marshal, Chief Ryan Westner, who worked with the fireworks company and the permit. So great work by all. We're also excited for the 5th annual Santa Tour. Sorry if I'm stealing your thunder, Councilman Blumen. That's this Saturday night. For a couple of significant calls we had recently, we did have a wrong way driver on I-80 on the 8th of December. Right by the train trestle, 3 vehicles involved, 3 patients. And then a reminder that we're going to start hydrant testing January 8th. So that's going to last about 3 weeks, done in phases. And lastly, I'd like to talk a little bit about a new app that's out there that we just turned on through our emergency command center. It's called Pulse Point. The basis of the app is it was developed by a guy in Incline Village. It's fully public facing. Anybody can download the app, free to use. But the premise behind it was that people could see if there was a CPR nearby and they're CPR trained. They would get notified and they could respond or whatever. But for the community, it's an easy way for you to look at everything that's going on within our jurisdiction. So you can easily see, if the Colfax engines are on medical aid down the street or whatever. It's all public facing and free to use. So I encourage you to check out Pulse Point, follow Placer County Fire on it. There's a lot of other fire agencies on it as well. But it's new for us. So we're excited about that. And I'd be happy to take any questions if anybody has any.
Larry?
I have one.
Sir.
Is the thing for Alta just because of winter or is it a more permanent thing?
No, it's just because of winter. So Alta is another one of our Amador staffed engines, Amador contract through the county. So we keep that open year round. But in the summertime, when it goes back to normal staffing, it has 2 engines for CAL FIRE standards. But for the winter, it goes down to 1 engine for the Amador staffing.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Awesome. Any other questions? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, do we have any nonprofits here this evening? All right. We do not have any presentations or public hearings, so we'll go directly to public comment. This is the part of the meeting for anyone to speak on matters that are not on tonight's agenda, but are within the purview of our oversight. So if anybody would like to make a public comment, this is the time. All right. Well, seeing none, we'll go ahead and close public comment. Okay. Oh, they're for an item. Okay, okay. All right. So we're closing the public comment section, moving to council and staff reports, starting with Sean.
Nothing to report tonight.
Okay.
I did not have any official committee meetings, but I happened to be roaming the streets with a cup of coffee in my hand, and I noticed a woman that was evaluating all of our streets. And as it turns out, she's part of the bid process. I think there's like 3 people bidding on the main streets. So I looked at her information and just chatted with her, and it was quite detailed, all the information they were taking. And she said many people don't even bid because it's so tedious and meticulous. So that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Larry?
It's just quick. This is especially for you fire department people and law enforcement people. Take care of your back.
They've got your back.
All right, thank you. Carolyn?
Nothing in this time.
All right, I have nothing to report as well. Pass it over to our city manager.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, City Council. A few things to report tonight. One is that this will be my last report as the interim city manager. The next one will probably be done by our new permanent city manager, Ron Walker. So I'll try to go out with a bang, I guess. Hopefully not, no. Anyway.
Change everything.
What's that?
Earth shaking.
Oh, yes, earth-shaking information. Few items tonight. Actually, one related to CAL FIRE. This morning, I attended a presentation by State Fire Marshal Daniel Berlant, who has left the Auburn City Council to take on a very important job working for the governor and being the state fire marshal. And he actually gave Colfax some kudos in its fire prevention efforts and its pursuit for the OES grant that we're hopefully going to start sometime next year for defensible space and other fire prevention programs. Cross our fingers. We did submit some information back to OES, the state OES, about a week and a half ago. So we're hopeful that that's a sign that things are moving, but FEMA is probably the slowest of all the federal agencies. And so we'll probably have to be patient a little bit longer. As Mayor Pro Tem Douglas stated, CDBG is out to bid. So we had our pre-bid meeting this morning, and we had a few potential bidders at that meeting. That's not unusual because they're not mandatory meetings any longer. And so not all the bidders all show up. They don't like to show their hands to other potential bidders, but we're expecting a good set of bidders bidding on it. It is a very complicated bid, as the woman told Mayor Pro Tem Douglas, because of the CDBG portion and the prevailing wage portion. So it's kind of a bid on steroids. So a lot of information they have to collect, and we'll probably be seeing a few of them out and around the community. Wanted to mention with Winterfest, from a staff standpoint, we thought it went off pretty good, was well attended. Just wanted to give some kudos to our maintenance supervising maintenance officer, Casey Merrill. He probably saw him a lot on Saturday. He did a lot of work, including kind of stepping in for trash patrol because of some maybe miscommunication with Recology and the like. So we performed a lot more trash removal than we normally do. And Casey, if you saw him on Saturday, he usually had a couple bags in his hands, though. So he was doing a lot. Some other things to report. The mayor and Councilman Lohman reviewed the minor changes to the Sheriff's Department contract, and there was a couple very, very minor changes that we've now transmitted back to the Sheriff's Department, and we should have a contract for the mayor's signature here shortly. Again, there's no increase in cost of that contract. It's just some of the minor terms of the contract that the county council wanted to make at this time. We are installing the snow parking signs in and around town, so that's going to be commencing here very shortly. Let me see. We are one thing that may be coming back to the council here, and just wanted to give the council a heads up is on the metal buildings that we're putting at the corporation yard and the wastewater treatment plant. We may need to come back to the council, not a sure thing yet, but just a heads up that may have to come back to the council for some adjustments to that contract due to some changes that had to be made as a result of some prior actions of our former public works director. So just a heads up on that. We do continue to work, Mick and myself, on the snow removal issue. We have some things to discuss with the mayor on that, but it's requiring a great deal of effort of investigation. So for something that's not really done in any jurisdiction in California, or Nevada. So we're trying to find a method to move forward with that. The last thing is in regards to the Christmas holiday. So the way that the New Year's or Christmas Eve and Christmas and the day after fall, which is part of our personnel rules manual. What staff is proposing is that we remain closed on the 24th, 25th, and 26th, but then adjust our weekly schedule. Normally then we would only be open on that Thursday, but we're proposing to be open both Thursday and Friday to allow people to have an additional day of access. Normally we'd be closed on Friday. So if that's acceptable to the council, then we will start notifying the public through our different channels of what our holiday schedule would be.
That's okay with that.
Oh, yes,
Or make sure.
yes, yeah. Actually, it came out of staff, so that was the proposal, so yes. And then the very last thing is that right now it's looking like we may look at not having a whole lot of items for the 10th. In addition of myself being out of town for that meeting. So if the council, if we can't come up with items, if the council is okay with it, we would cancel the meeting on the 10th and then have the next regular meeting on the 24th.
So you're contemplating canceling the 27th and the 10th then?
Correct.
I just want to make sure that we really will cancel.
Yes, it would be the 27th and the 10th. Yes, I'm sorry.
Okay, just want to make sure.
Yes.
I'd be agreeable to that. I mean, if we don't have items, there's no reason to pull a meeting together and put everybody on OT and make a bunch more work for no reason.
Right. Right.
But if something does come up, then we can,
We certainly
we can
can use
honor it.
those. Yes.
Maybe we'll wait.
Actually, we technically on the 16th because the 15th is a holiday. So yes, so.
You will probably attend the second meeting.
Yeah, I will. What we're, given my hours that I have left, what we're, and I've talked this over with Ron, is that we're contemplating that I would be here through around the 25th.
Would that include the second January meeting? Then?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, so we'll both be here for you, so.
Okay.
But, well, we might, Ron might be sitting where I'm sitting, and I may be sitting where Ron is sitting, but other than that, yeah.
We'll just squeeze in an extra chair.
Or squeeze in extra chair,
Yeah.
yes. So share the microphone, yes. Whatever the council would like, so. And that's all the items I have left for tonight.
Wonderful, thank you. All right, well, with that, we'll go ahead and move to council business, starting with item 8A. This is consider canceling the December 27th, 2023 regular city council meeting. I mean, I can ask if there's any questions from council, but I feel like it's fairly obvious. Do you mind if I go straight to public comment?
Do we need to edit that to say both this and the January 10th? Can we
I was kind of thinking we should go that
put
direction.
it all in one?
Sure.
Can we do that since it's accomplished? Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you can do that anytime. And maybe what you should do is you cancel the 27th and authorize the city manager to cancel the January 10th.
I think that's how I'd like to do it, because I don't want to necessarily cancel it if something comes up at the last minute. Do we have any public comment on this item? All right, seeing none, bring it back for action. If someone wants to give a very specific motion, that would be helpful.
I move we cancel the December 27th meeting and authorize the city manager to cancel the following meeting in January, first meeting in January, if nothing comes up.
Perfect. Do I have a second?
A second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
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 All right, motion passes. Now we get to move to the fun part of the meeting. Item 8B, rotation of city council officers, mayor and mayor pro tem. We don't have any kind of presentation for this, do we? I feel like we should at least kind of go over it since we have newly appointed council members.
Sure. So typically at the first meeting in December, when it's not an election year, there will be a rotation in council and a new mayor and mayor pro tem are selected by council's sole discretion.
All right, thank you, Marguerite. So what we can do is if we want to have any questions or minor discussion, public comment, then we'll go over and we'll do what we're gonna do. So does anybody have any questions, comments before we take public comment? No? All right. We'll go ahead and open the floor for public comment on this item. Do we have any public comment on this particular item? I know. Wonderful. All right. Marguerite, did you say that you had comments? I think I heard Tom had a comment. Okay. I'll let Marguerite enter
We
those.
do have two public comments on this item.
Okay.
The first is from Howard White, and he states, with all the new information, here's what I'm asking for in the December meeting. Council should recognize Mayor Burris by styling her as Honorable Mayor Emeritus going forward following rotation. 2, the council should appoint Kim Douglas as Honorable Mayor. 3, the council should appoint either Larry Hilberg or Caroline McCauley as Honorable Mayor Pro Tem. And 4, the council should honor Mike Lukin for his contributions to the city over the years, including the time that predates him as our city manager. And then we also have another public comment. This is going to be from Tom Parnham that came in today, and he states, greetings and Merry Christmas. In the past, the office of mayor was rotated among council members by the following formula. The mayor pro tem is appointed mayor. The council member with the longest tenure who has not served as mayor is appointed mayor pro tem. In event of a tie, the council member who received the most votes is appointed. The last few years, the city has not followed this policy. In my opinion, the city should return to this policy and appoint Kim to be our mayor and appoint Caroline as mayor pro tem because she was appointed before Larry. I believe rotating the mayorship among the council members is important so that all of our council members can leave the city. Thank you, Trinity, for your outstanding service to our city. Tom Parnham.
All right, thank you. Do we have any other public comments?
And nothing else online.
Okay. All right. Well, with that, back to the council. I mean, I feel pretty strongly in agreement that I'm in a position where I'd like to see our mayor pro tem rotate. We need to keep rotating. I think that we need to have an open discussion about how we want to select our mayor pro tem, and especially going forward, we have to have a conversation about how we want to do our selections, because for the last several years, it's just been a different protocol every time we do this. It has not been consistent. So with that being said, I think the first thing that we probably need to ask, because I'm assuming we'll probably do a single motion. We can do 2 motions if anyone wants to make a motion on the floor now. But we need to find out who actually wants to serve as mayor pro tem. And then we need to have a discussion, because the 2 people that we do have that have not served were appointed on the same day.
I'd like to make a comment on that. Do this recovery process that I'm in.
Yeah.
And other commitments that I have, I'm not ready to take that on as a new commitment.
Okay,
I just don't have room for it, so I would not be interested.
that's very helpful. Thank you,
Okay.
Larry. And then one of the other concerns that was brought up, which I can't say I agree with, but one of the other concerns that was brought up was whether the positions of mayor or mayor pro tem should be held specifically by elected officials versus appointed officials. Personally, with the work and everything I've seen everybody put in, I can't say that I take any preference any which way, because we have the right as council members to make those appointments, and we appointed people that do a good job. But I just wanted to make sure I put that on the table for discussion. So if anyone feels strongly one way or another, we could talk about it.
I'd say the only thing I feel strongly about is that we should do the rotation from mayor pro tem to mayor. That's the only thing I feel strongly about.
Okay. I'm trying to pull teeth to make everybody comment on this process. So I want to make sure we've had an interactive dialogue when we do this, because I think it is important.
As far as the pro tem, I think it's important to know which one doesn't want to be pro tem or which one does want to be. That means a lot to me. I mean, it looks like it's between.
We are kind of putting you guys on the spot to say yes or no. Would you like to do it? Would you not like to do it? So we're not sitting here making an assumption, putting you guys even more on the spot.
I mean, for me, a lot of it is just, as far as I can tell, it's fill in when the mayor's not here. There's
Right.
not really a whole bunch more that goes with the title. That being said, I'm still the rookie and still figuring it out. So at that point, I will say I will lean a little bit more, probably on Ron a little bit, if there is something more that I need to be able to do if I was in that position. So I understand if they're not the most confident in me because I've not done it. I understand. I haven't been here very long. But I'm also willing to throw my hat in and try anything. So
Well, let's just be honest, outside of Kim, none of us have been here very long. So we're all, if we're just being honest with ourselves, we're all continuously learning. And you never stop learning. And the more you learn, the more you realize you don't know. And it's as simple as that.
For me personally, I will defer to your preference, in all honesty, because you have far more experience than I do. And if you want it, take it. And if not, I'm happy to step in.
I'm good with taking it, but let's see what council wants to do.
Well, I don't want us to all sit here and be indecisive, and I do think it's important that, we rotate things. I do, and it sounds like we do have two people who are eager to have the position, both of which are working their butts off and have proven that they will continue to do so. So, I mean, would either of you like to make further comments in the merit of making a decision here? Because I'll just say right now, I don't want it.
You have enough on your plate.
I do.
That's fine.
Well, I would say that I would agree with the seniority. I think that makes sense. As we go forward and before we close the conversation, I think that in one of our future agendas, I don't want to wait until December of next year to have this conversation again. But this is just my personal opinion. I think it's very important that we have a conversation about what these roles really mean going forward and what the expectations are of the people who hold them and how we're going to select the people that hold them. Because without a definitive, firm expectation of what the role entails, it's hard to say, is this the person to fulfill those specific duties? And as you've seen over the last year, it's just been about everything that can be thrown at the wall and stick has turned into something between, filling in a city manager and a number of other things. So if it's just responding to media requests, or if it's just being a presence and being a symbol, whatever that is, I think we need to define it so people know what they're signing up for. And we can pick the person who's going to best fit in each of the different roles that we have on council. And if we need to assign things out, let's assign things out. If you don't like to be in front of a camera, that's fine too. You can be mayor and not be in front of a camera if you don't like doing it. So I digress. But let's try to have this conversation in March. Let's not wait till December to have this conversation.
If I could, Madam Mayor, that has been done in the rules of procedure that will be coming up before council for adoption. I think we did define the role of mayor and mayor pro tem fairly carefully.
And I'm sure there'll be more discussion among those that haven't had a chance to sit in on that yet.
What happens is after the election, the new council, 3-2 vote, can do anything they want.
Always.
But I would expect the mayor pro tem to roll into mayor maybe, but all it takes on a new commission or a new council.
Yeah.
Make a new decision, right? So everything's open at that point. Correct.
Well, with that being said, I'm trying to remember how we did this before.
Mayor first.
Just motion and then all that. Okay.
Mayor, then motion for mayor pro tem.
I think that's the best way to do it. All right, can I entertain a motion for the mayorship?
Make a motion that Kim Douglas
Okay.
ascend from mayor to mayor.
Wonderful.
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, now we'll entertain a motion for pro tem.
I'll make a motion that Sean move into the mayor pro tem location.
Okay. All right, all in favor? Aye. All right, well, there we are. If you don't mind, Kim, do you want me to finish the meeting or would you like to? It's a little clunky with these boxes I hit on here, try to rotate around.
Madam Mayor, we have a little presentation before
Oh,
move
okay.
forward. Okay.
Maybe I do need to move some boxes.
I guess. Yep. So, I guess it's the tradition for the city manager to present the outgoing mayor, the gavel, that you use all year long. I'm sorry. I'm supposed to use. Sorry, I'll start over. It's a tradition, I guess, for the city manager to present the mayor with the gavel of that she's used for the year. And so we'd like to present you this gavel. This is Trinity Burris, 2023 Colfax Mayor. And I know you have another one at home, so you have now a set of gavels. You know, maybe someday you'll have more. You can have one for each child or something like that. So, but in all jest, I mean, I've only been here 6 months, but as a city manager, I think I've worked for I guess I shouldn't say the best, but I could because I work for you. But I'll say one of the best elected officials in all of the Sacramento region, which is Trinity Burris. You are an excellent mayor. I've been proud to work for you. I've been proud to work on all the projects and lead our staff for you. And I wish you the best moving forward into your role as council member. So just on my behalf, thank you. And from our staff, thank you.
Thank you.
And maybe we could pass the torch to the other council members to speak a little bit on your role.
Pass the torch. Well, I'm gonna say, as spending most of your mayorship time on the other side watching, I know the community greatly appreciates how communicative you are with them and have been very open with everybody, and they cannot say enough about your leadership skills. And just from the 2 emails that you saw that came in today, you know that you've made a huge difference in Colfax, and it's much appreciated. And I appreciate the little bit of mentorship that I've gotten in the last couple months as well.
Thank you.
I'd like to say a couple things. At one time, basically, you were both the mayor and the city manager at the same time and working full time and raising a family. And I commend you very strongly for that. And secondly, you run maybe the finest meetings that I've attended. We do the city's business quickly and professionally, and I appreciate it.
Thank you.
And I too echo what Walking Irish said, and the city manager. Especially I want to praise Trinity for picking Mike, because of all the people, she went right out and picked them, and that get kudos for that. And I agree with Mike. Trinity just was fabulous the way you ran the meetings efficiently and fairly, and very impressed. And I think it helped bring everybody up to a level of professionalism that other city managers would be well to emulate and appreciate. Thank you, Trinity.
Thank you.
I'll also echo everything everybody else has just said, because I definitely agree with it. And thank you for all the hard work you've put in on your epic 2-term mayorship. It's been really great. You've been a excellent public face for the city, and done a really good job pushing out the city's needs and agenda. So thank you for all the work you've put in.
Thank
You
you.
made a big difference.
Me too, my turn. I have a different view. No, I really don't. A+ on running the meetings. Very well done. I've been really impressed with that, and the attention to detail. I come to these meetings thinking, okay, what's the mayor going to throw at me tonight, or going to throw at staff tonight? The attention to detail and the preparation have been awesome. Been a great mayor.
Thank you.
I'd just like to say something also. It's just been such a pleasure as a staff member to work for you. I lost power for 10 days during the winter 2021 to 22 storm. And I saw you just rise above everything, challenge after challenge, and you have been a phenomenal leader for this community. And so I thank you.
Thank you. I'm now sufficiently extremely uncomfortable. Thank you so much, everybody. I really, really appreciate the kind words. And I do wish I was a bit more eloquent right now, but I'm not, and we're gonna go ahead and admit that. But thank you again. Let's say we move to the good of the order. Pass it over to Sean.
As Chief Cass said, the sanitary is going to be Saturday evening. We'll be starting at Hillcrest at 5:30, making our way through town, and then at Canyon Creek Circle at or Canterbury Apartments at around 7:30, 8 o'clock. So you can catch us downtown. We'll stop for a little bit, and we'll also stop at Dine and Dash for a little bit, so everybody can make it out to see Santa. That's it.
Okay. And Larry stood up a minute ago and showed CHP what they could do. I want to do the same. Merry Christmas.
Very nice.
Yeah, I'd like to be very quick also. I have a friend at the radio station over in Nevada City where I'm a broadcaster. And she's the poet laureate of the Nevada County. And her name is Molly Fisk. And she advocates to all of us that rather than have promises that we make in the new year, this list of things that we're going to do, we're going to go to the gym and we're going to do this and we're going to do that. But she advocates just one word, that you pick just one single word that you can focus on that means something. And for example, one year I chose the word now, but it didn't work. But this year, the word that I'm choosing is robot. Because when you can't twist and when you can't bend over and you can't lift anything over 5 pounds, that's kind of the way I move. So that's my memory. This year is robot, so that I always face anything I'm going to touch or reach for. So anyway.
I can say those of us in the room who've experienced pregnancy can empathize with you.
Absolutely. I want to thank the chamber for all the work they did on Winterfest. It really was fantastic. The community was having a great time. And while I know they didn't have as many volunteers to do some things, so things kind of dropped, it didn't matter. Things really went off very well. And they enjoyed it. It was fantastic having such a great turnout in our parade. I mean, we not only had our Cal Fire and Placer Fire and the sheriffs out there, we also had Fish and Game was out there. That's what the reindeer were. We pulled in a little bit of everybody and it was fantastic. And I don't think we could have had a better evening. And then you had Santa Claus who lights off your fireworks for you. You can't pass that. There's nothing finer than that. So I just want to commend the chamber. They did a great job. And then the Seroptimus who put the soup kitchen dinner on as well. It's always one of my family's favorites and they had a great time up there. So.
Well, thank you. I'm going to echo your sentiments and keep it brief, but it was just fabulous. It was a lot of fun. The parade was awesome. Fireworks were even better. It was just nothing but fun. I wish we could do it more often, but it's a bit expensive and, all consuming. And then I'm really looking forward to Saturday. That's going to be a lot of fun. I definitely can't wait. I think I might enjoy that more than the children do, to be honest.
Just don't run early. You get yourself in trouble.
Go nice and slow.
Because I have an issue because you put it, okay. For once.
Even 10 times down this year, so even later than possible.
Awesome.
Perfect.
Thank you.
All right. Well, did you have anything for good of the order?
Yeah, just a couple of things. One is that we do have some punch and cookies and some more time to try to make the outgoing mayor cry after the meeting. So
You haven't come to me yet.
please stick around.
Yes.
The other thing is regarding Winterfest. I did poke fun at a friend of mine who's a battalion chief for Roseville Fire to tell him that we had way more fire engines in our parade than they had in the Roseville parade.
Video to show it to him.
Yes, I did. I showed it to him. I said, "Here's proof. Why don't we have this in Roseville where I live?" So, and then the last thing is, and I didn't want to scare the incoming mayor into not taking the job, but Mike's going to be out of the country from December 27th to January 12th. And so the incoming mayor is also going to be the part-time city manager as well. So we didn't tell you that ahead of time, but the other bit of news with that though is that your incoming city manager is going to be around the area. So if anything comes up, he'll have your back. So.
And I'm not running away either. So if you need some help, I'm here.
Oh, yeah, I'll have my experience, it's my contact.
Yes. You're gonna regret that at some point. probably.
I'm not gonna be here until the 29th.
Oh. We actually forgot one little thing about the mayor pro tem is we have to do an oath of office. So maybe before you close, we can do that oath of office.
Perfect. Well, with that being said, I think what we'll do is we'll go ahead and take some public comments on the good of the order, if there are any, and then we can go directly into that oath of office. And I'm gonna go ahead and make a motion right now that we go ahead and remove the closed session altogether and do the oath of office instead. So do I have support on that?
Don't need it.
Don't need it tonight. All right, do I have a second on my motion? All right, all in favor? Aye. All right, perfect. Do we have any public comment on good of the order this evening? All right, well, seeing none, I believe I could probably adjourn the actual meeting and then do the perfect. So we're gonna go ahead and adjourn the meeting. Thank you, everybody, and you can stick around. We're gonna go ahead and do the oath of office for the new mayor and mayor pro tem. Thank you.